Morning.
G'day guys.
one more. This is day one of my attempt to get through the AAWT. I'm actually talking to you from just on the backside of Mount Tennant. I figured I'd get that out of the way first. You can still hear I'm a bit out of breath coming up there. There's a good 500 metre elevation gain there out of the 29-30,000 that we've got to do for the whole walk. So, you know, there's a little bit off already. So we're setting out on the 27th of April, so this is the Sunday of the Anzac long weekend. I have flipped to go to the south from the ACT. The ACT had put in closures for the end of May, the last 2 weeks of May, and that's when I would have been right in the park at that period if I'd started from Walhalla. So I quickly scampered over the last few days trying to rearrange everything, so you know, everything needs to look at, so campsites aren't the same, drops have to be in slightly different spots, and the logistics for transport just to get to the start of the trail was totally different and last minute. So I've been super busy for the last 3 days. I mean, there was 13.5 hours of driving, 1100 kilometres of road driving to put all my drops in. That was Friday. So, and then a bus, you know, train, then a bus ride back to Canberra. But there was zero sleep on the bus ride. That was horrible. So, sleep has been very short. Lucky I got a good sleep at the Poppet clan's house, so that was great. So I'm a bit better, but I know I've got sleep I've got to catch up on still. So that will be what's going on. Now, because I've had the flip, I have mixed days. So my planning isn't as great as it was coming north, so I have some questionable days. So what I've decided to do is work hard for the first 3-4 days, probably 4 days, and try and just gain myself a day in forward distance. I can't finish early because I can't get a ride at the end of the trail until the day that I'm meant to be there anyway, so I can't finish early, but the extra day will give me, especially down around the Mount Hotham Viking area, I can just do half distance days and use the one I've gained and just split it and use it up down there, which is what I plan to do. Instead of pushing hard big days which might not even be possible, I'll just have this extra one up my sleeve and I can utilise it without any worry that I'm prolonging my time out there. So that's the aim. So today, the niggles are real. The legs are very upset. They're not sure what the hell I've been doing here. So, you know, usual first day issues. So they'll come to terms with it over the next few days, but yeah, a 500 climb right off the bat's not what they wanted. So now we are away. So now that I've come off the top there, I do have another climb today, but it's not as big as that one. But I'll just make up time. I have roughly 26 k's to what I deemed was my first campsite with my rough estimates, but I'll see if I can just roll, you know, to a nice spot, you know, maybe 5 k's beyond that. If I can do that, that's 5 k's I've crimped out of the other one. That's my plan, just to keep slicing distance off until I gain that day. So see how we go. That is the plan. It's very overcast. I mean, the forecast said I was going to get wet, but it's just misty at the moment. A little bit of drizzle touching me now, but I mean, it's heavy overcast, so we could get rain, but we'll see. We'll see. But, you know, what's one of my walks without buckets of rain dropping on me and getting me all wet anyway, so we'll see. So alright, so that's it for the start of the morning. I'll catch you down the trail somewhere. See you later. Good evening, everyone. End of day one. Ridiculous day one. Why do I always do ridiculous day ones? That was 41 kilometers today. Over 1,700 elevation gain. And that was 11 hours of walking. I mean, how dumb am I? What am I thinking? It's your first day, mate. You're supposed to just work into it. But anyway, in the end, it is what it is, right? So I am stuck with what I've done, and I will. It puts me in a good spot, so I'm happy with that. So it was really weird today, so crazy. I mean, you have Mount Tennant straight off the bat. I mean, it is literally, as soon as you step on trail, it says go up, and that's 500 meters to get up to the top of that mountain. And then there's lots of single track. The whole morning was all single track. Some of it was really technical. It's really good fun. I enjoyed doing all of that. And then just after midday for me, so in the afternoon, the majority of the track in the afternoon, we'll say the first half of the track in the afternoon, was fire trail. And fire trails, you either go straight down or straight up. That's just everywhere. At one point though, it was quite entertaining because it took us through, once we got down into a valley, it took us through pastures just full of kangaroos who didn't care. They were quite happy for you to walk through their mob. So, they would just watch you go past. So, they were pretty chill. It's quite interesting to see kangaroos chill and not just all run off in crazy frenzy. And then after that, you climb up the ridge that's on the opposite side of the one you came down from. So you cross the valley and you go up the opposite ridge. So you're going back up the same height on the opposite side. I was over going up at that point, but that wasn't the end of my ups. So late into the afternoon, you then hit single trail again. Excuse me. And the single trail, it just went up. It was constantly going up, and I was at my limit. I was really done by that point, and that was a good. Where would I have been? I would have been around the 28, 29 mark for today. I've discovered two things. I have such a bad habit of just constantly going. I don't stop, so I don't eat. I really struggled to eat today, and it's really weird. I even struggled to eat my dinner today. You should be wolfing that down after 41 k's, but I really struggled today. But all my snacks, I really struggled to eat them, and I still have a fair chunk of them still in the bag. So that was bad. And the other thing is I just plow on and I just don't stop to fill the water, and that's just daft. I got to the point that I just drained all my water, and this stretch here, it's not wanting, it's really wet here. This is really wet. So from the back side of Mount Tennant, because it's dry, to there, but the back side of Mount Tennant, so as you drop into the valley below on the back side of it, it's just water, and that water is continuous all the way to here. It's wet. I mean, you won't be able to hear it right this very second, but I can hear water running just over here. And I crossed heaps of water, and I just wouldn't stop. I just kept ploughing along. And then I got to the point that my thought process was, just get to camp, mate. You're really close to camp, so you don't need to stop. You're really close. And then I finally get to camp, And there's no way you can camp. I mean, the 2019, 2020 bushfires have decimated this area, and it seems that the really rough, I don't even know what it is. It is not a shrub. I don't know what the plant is, but it has dominated here, so it's taken over. So all the places that are marked in the books on the single trail section say there's camping. There's no way. It's not possible. You can get the water, but it's not possible to camp there. So at that point, I got to that camp, and I hadn't had water for about 10 Ks. Ridiculous me. I should have stopped and filtered water on the umpteen crossings I'd had, and I just didn't, because I went, oh, you're so close to camp, just get the clamp. And I was really parched by that point. I got to the camp area, again, no camping, but I filtered water, filled all my bottles up, drank some, filtered them all up again. And in that time, doing the filtering and sitting there and drinking, it's like you get your second wind, and it's like, Matt, you have to stop and filter water like multiple times a day, because that is a break for you. Even though you're filtering, it is a break. Your body recovers a bit. And I was full of beans from that point in time. So I just pushed, and really all the way along this single trail, this whole single trail, all the way along, there's no camping until you get to where I am right now, which I think is, I might be mistaken. I'll put it here. If I'm wrong, I'll put it here and say that it's bloody whatever it is. So here, I think it might be Cooper's Crossing or something like that. That's the first place. There's a fence line here, and it looks like some farmland used to be here, and it's quite clear. So I had my pick of spots here, but until I got to here, the whole trail is closed in. There's like thickets. That's probably the right term for those bushes that are just dominating. They're like thickets. They're like a wall, and they're like 1.5 meters high, and they just go. As far as you can see, they go. So there's no camping at all. So you just walled in until you get to here, effectively, and then it just opens up. And then you see this fence line that you haven't seen all day, and there's just camping for days here. I mean, you could put 100 tents in here. There wouldn't be a problem. It's a massive clear area. So it was my first spot, really, that I could get to. So first stop that I could put down, and that was it. I mean, I was hunkering for a camping spot. So as soon as I saw this, I mean, I haven't even walked to the water that's over there. I've just got what's filtered in my bottles. But, tomorrow morning I'll pack up and make my way over there, and I have to cross over, I believe. So I will then filter water just before I cross, and then away I go. So we'll see. But what a ridiculous long day. What am I thinking? Just short days, Matt. What are you doing? So anyway, it's a fair chunk along. It's at least 10 Ks past where I believe I was going to camp. My problem is that because I had to flip, and I had to flip with such short notice, like I only had 3 days short notice, and heading south now instead of coming up north, where I'd spent a long time prepping and reading about all the campsites and knowing exactly which campsites I could go to, which people were saying were still campsites on far out, that sort of thing. So, but I didn't get that option. I didn't get that chance to do that this time. I had to work out the logistics and then rearrange. Part of that was rearranging my drops and then putting them in. That all took time. So the camping spots have been really I don't know. I'm playing it by ear. So I will go day by day now. I'll read the book and I'll work and I'll find out as I go along. This is where I was going to camp. That's such and such distance now. What's the distance I want to do? This is the distance. Look for campsites around there, and then read to see if they are still campsites. So if they're not, then I'll adjust my distances to match campsites. But the other thing that I'm really bloody awful at is that I walk at night. I basically, what did I get here? I got here at 8:30, so I basically did 2.5 hours night walking to get here because it was pitch black in here at 6. So yeah, I did 2.5 hours night walking. There's like, I have lots of wet stuff. My socks are all wet because it's so wet here that all the grasses and everything, there's quite really thatchy grass on the track, and it's just all full of water. And my shoes are just trail runners, so they're not waterproof, and it just went through. So socks are soaked, my pants are soaked. They sort of survived a little bit because I have long gaiters on them. The long gaiters sort of took the hit this time, and I wore my raincoat for the last 15 k's because the raincoat effectively kept all the silver wattle, which is so heavy with water and so close to you because it's hanging over onto the trail. You're getting hit all the time, so that sort of saved my shirt a bit. It's a little bit wet, but not like it would have been otherwise. So then, of course, I can't get things dry, right? It's night time. I can't get things dry. I don't have an afternoon where I can sort of put out a makeshift line and hang stuff out to dry. So I'll be starting with wet stuff tomorrow, but I have to make a point of getting to a campsite in the daytime. So that's my other thing I've got to do: the distance, a good campsite, and get there in daytime. And I'll do that for the next couple of days until everything's all back to being dry. But otherwise, it's a surprising day, really. Big numbers all around, big numbers all around. And I survived, so that's good. I suck at setting up. Oh, lordy. That's crazy. I know I said this when I was on the human hole, but dear, do you forget everything? It's chaotic inside my tent right now. Stuff's just sent in all directions. My brain can't work out what I should be doing, where I should be putting it. Oh, what a mess. So I hope I get better at that. So, a nice daytime arrival at camp might help that situation. Give me a bit more time to organise all that sort of stuff. Oh, wait till tomorrow. Holy crap. I bet you my pulling down of the the whole setup will be just as chaotic as it was putting it up. So a couple of days getting used to it, getting into a routine, then everything will all be right. Then should be all right, and off we'll go. So that's about it. Nothing else. Like I say, I'm just going to go look through the book now and work out what tomorrow brings for me. Please be sunny and warm tomorrow. It was weird, patchy, drizzly, messy junk today where it was too quick to put a coat on, but if you didn't have a coat on, then you're walking late, it got soaked. So it was just, those sorts of days are awful. So please just be sunny tomorrow and I'll be super happy. Yep, that's it. I'm hunkering for bed, so I will catch you all tomorrow. Enjoy your evening.